So my invitation to you is this. Imagine now, from this moment onwards, from watching this video, that you don't live from the context of what you want, but you live from the context of who you want to be. What's the context you live your life? Now, what I mean by that is, do you live your life from the place of everything that you want and achieve? You have a set of goals and a bucket list, or do you live it from the context of how you want to show up as a human being? Now, does it really matter? Some cases it does. Now, when things are going really well for you, it probably doesn't matter as much. However, life isn't simple. A lot of the times we live in the domain of having life happen to us, and we'll react to things. Unless we've done the work and really deep work, we're sometimes at the mercy of the things around us. In one of my other videos, I talk about the freedom formula. The freedom formula is all about understanding the focus you have in a particular area, whether you have a structure around that, and whether you have discipline. But what precedes that is the context you live your life. Now, I'm going to show you a formula which I came across about 15 years ago. I didn't religiously apply it till about 5-6 years ago. And when I did, everything changed. Everything changed for me in terms of able to make better decisions. Everything changed in terms of ability to say no. Everything changed in terms of being aligned with my goals and my values. And when you're much more aligned, you achieve much more of what you want. When you achieve much more of what you want, you're much more happier, much more at peace. So I'm going to show you this formula. You might have come across this formula before. However, the context of the way I'm going to show you might be slightly different. So when we live, we often have a situation where we have a list of what I call wants, right? Of things that we have. So let's say here is everything that you want and you have, right? Now, for example, you might want, let's say material things. You want a car, you want a house, or let's say you want to have a relationship, or you want to, say you want to be a doctor. So you want to be a doctor, or you want to run a business. So you have these things that you want. Our brain automatically goes to what we need to do. So here you have a list of do's. So if you want to be a doctor, you go to medical school. If you want to buy a nice car, you need to earn some money. If you want to be in a relationship, you go on dating apps or you go on to socials. So you see, for every single want and have, there's something you need to do. And that's action gets you places. Without any action, nothing happens. So essentially, our life is led from a point of what the things that we want and all the things that we need to do. And essentially, our day is occupied, our mind is occupied, oscillating between the things that we want and we do. We want and do and want and do. Now, let me ask you this question. Is it guaranteed that if you do something here, you're guaranteed to get the result? No, you're not. Now, when you do something, you either get the result you want or you don't get the result you want. And then you have a choice. You then say, okay, do I change the thing I want, or do I change the thing I need to do slightly because I still want this? So there's an oscillation between the two. But what happens when you don't have self-awareness? And what happens when you just don't think about the plan and the structure and the game plan and your self-awareness? Is we oscillate between do, want, 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 do, want. And that's your life, ladies and gentlemen. It's a constant oscillation between the things that we want and things we do. Things we want, things we do, then we go to bed. How does that feel? It feels quite monotonous. It feels transactional. It just feels tiring. So why do we do this? Why do we keep oscillating? What are we aiming for? Essentially, what we're aiming for is this, is we want to be happy or rich or successful, content, at peace. Whatever it is for you, we're aiming for these, and we get pockets of it. We live our lives in a way where if we achieve some of this, or most of it, we get pockets of this. Because the context you're living from is the context of what you want from here. There's nothing wrong with that. But as I've already demonstrated, that you can do certain things and no guarantee. Because we're thinking, if we get this thing, we can then be happy. If we achieve these goals, we can then be rich. If we can have this thing, we can be successful. So we live our lives from the context of achieving pockets of this. So we do get happy and rich and successful. But when we live from this context, we're relying on the things that we achieve to give us the happiness, to be rich, to be successful. And that can be quite tiring. So my invitation to you is this. Imagine now, from this moment onwards, from watching this video, that you don't live from the context of what you want, but you live from the context of who you want to be. So now you can list here who you want to be. Who do you choose to be today? Who do you choose to be tomorrow? And when you list this, these are the things, these are your values, these are your motivations, the way you want to be as a human being. And from this place, you start to list the things that you do. What would this person do? So let me give you an example of an Olympic athlete. They haven't won gold yet, but they acting as if they're a gold medal athlete. So you can picture their day. They wake up quite early, go train for a couple of hours, they come back, they have a protein healthy breakfast, they then may rest a little bit, they train again, they are disciplined in terms of their routine, they sit down with their coach, they then go train again, they do some weights, you can see the day is very structured. They're being an Olympic athlete. They're acting as if they're a gold medal athlete without the evidence of the gold medal. So they're coming from this place. So let me ask you this, is if you come from the place of, I remember the law of attraction says that when you be something, you attract it. So act as if you're happy. No, be happy. How would you show up if you know you were already successful? What were the words that you'd use if you were content with things? How would you show up in yourself, irrespective of someone's watching you or not, if you were able to give the feeling of being rich? Now, I'm not talking being rich in terms of financials. I'm talking rich in terms of life. So now, can you control this or this more? It's obvious you can control this every day. Now, I appreciate that different circumstances, different stresses, different things that happen, this could be easier or harder because you've got many moving parts in your life and you've got outside things that impact you or stress you out or cause anxiety. To be the person you want to be is going to be tougher. However, you're more in control of this than this. Don't rely on your happiness, your success, your richness to be based on these results. The results are the results. The results will happen. When you take an action, one of three things occur. You get what you want, you don't get what you want, or a miracle. Now, there's more chances of miracles occurring if you come from the context of who you want to be. So start living here. Then you say to yourself, if you were being the person that comes from this place, what would you do? So if you were being the person that said, you know what, I'm very focused on my goals, I want to achieve certain financial wealth in my life, that person doesn't procrastinate. That person takes action. That person goes and connects with people. That person's disciplined in terms of their work. So you can see where I'm coming from. And then the result takes care of itself. So my invitation to this is not emotionally attached to the outcome. Don't be emotionally attached to the outcome. Know what you want the outcome to be, but don't emotionally attach yourself to it that it disarms you. Don't think my actions will be determined on whether I get the result or not. Now, the result should give you some evidence of how to adjust your actions, but it shouldn't determine whether you're successful or you're a success or a failure. The results give you an evidence, an indication of where you need to move, how you need to be agile, how you need to adjust the original plan in order for that to work, if that makes sense. So the Baiju formula, when it's used correctly, is one of the most powerful formulas that you can use to create the life you want. Look at your life right now in terms of everything that you want. Set that in stone, then forget about it. It's there. You know what you aim for in terms of your finances, your career, your business. That's there. Now, who do you need to be in terms of you showing up, and what do you need to do that the result takes care of itself? So don't come from a place of I will do based on these things. I will do based on who I be. And when you change that context, and when you live from here to here, instead of from here to here, your life starts to change. The Baiju formula, when used correctly, is the most powerful, most insightful, most liberating way of living that I've seen. And when I've applied that to my life, it's been a game changer. And when I've applied it to my clients' life and they come from this place, it's game changing. When things are going well, it's great. But when things aren't going well, you go back to, right, who am I being in this moment? Who do I need to be that fits with my values, my integrity, my honesty? And when you understand that, the doing becomes easy, the results look after themselves, and you start to create the life that you want. I hope that helps.